Alaska holds more than jagged peaks and frozen lakes. It hides puzzles most people never hear. Deep under its ice or lost in its empty valleys are stories that don't fit a normal world. What happens when a whole crew vanishes, but their boat glides on without them? Why do voices mimic you when you're truly alone? Beneath one lake lies something that's never been named. Tonight, we'll step into the places most avoid, where the silence is too loud and some mysteries may not want to be uncovered. Buckle up, this one goes deep. The dear men of the tundra. In the farthest reaches of Alaska's tundra, where few dare to venture and landmarks disappear into an endless stretch of snow and ice, a strange legend persists. Stories have been told for generations about figures seen just at the edge of one's vision. They appear upright, with long legs and deer-like features, standing too still to be mistaken for animals. Witnesses say they mimic the voices of loved ones or even call a person by name. No one can explain why this happens, but locals never brush it off as mere coincidence. That is the chilling part. Hunters and hikers from the region describe them in similar terms. Deer-like humanoids with an eerie, deliberate way of moving. Tracks have been found that don't match any known creature, sharp hoofprints that look like they also carry the impression of heels. One park ranger in 1999 told of hearing her own voice outside her cabin, calling for help. But when she investigated, there was nothing but strange tracks circling the building. It's not just one account. These stories have come from bush pilots, outdoor guides, and even military personnel training in these remote places. There are those who believe these dear men have learned to imitate the people they see. According to the Inupiaq elders who have passed these stories down, the figures take on a face or voice that will cause someone to drop their guard. When someone responds, they feel an inexplicable pull to follow into the wild. Could these mimics be predators using deception to separate people from their group? There is no clear evidence they attack outright, and strangely, most people never seem to come back. What happens once they disappear into the empty white landscape? No one has an answer. Skeptics argue this is just folklore spun around campfires to keep people cautious. But that doesn't explain the patterns, reports spanning decades, descriptions that rarely change, and people who recall hearing familiar names called out on the wind. Even experienced outdoorsmen hesitate to explore areas where these encounters were reported. Some say maps of these regions list trails as closed or restricted, especially after someone goes missing. What is it about these places that keeps drawing people in and never lets them go? Despite all this, the dear men of the tundra remain one of Alaska's most whispered-about mysteries. Many who speak of them do so carefully, as if fearing they might hear their own voice echoing back across the ice. Whether they are real or simply a product of isolation and fear, one thing is certain. In these frozen places, where silence is a norm and help is nowhere near, it's best never to answer a voice that knows your name. If you thought this was mind-boggling, wait, the next one will blow your mind away. The Black Pyramid of Alaska. Somewhere deep beneath the glacier of the Alaska Range lies a structure so strange that it's barely acknowledged outside whispered stories. Known as a Black Pyramid, this hidden anomaly is rumored to be an enormous, perfectly shaped pyramid that dwarfs even the Great Pyramid of Giza. First discovered during a seismic survey by a U.S. Army team in 1992, its signals appeared as a near-perfect square anomaly on their instruments. What could be resting beneath miles of ice, hidden so carefully that it went unnoticed for centuries. Even today, the region is closed off, and those who venture too close report a profound sense of unease. Details from that seismic survey describe the readings as too symmetrical to be natural. Researchers involved were quickly told to classify their findings. Some were even reassigned shortly after. Unofficial reports mention a smooth, dark surface that doesn't seem like any kind of ordinary stone. Retired military contractors have come forward years later claiming the object is an artificial structure, but no one agrees on its origins. Was this pyramid built long ago by people we've forgotten, or is it something entirely unknown? No one knows for sure. Those who have gotten close enough speak of strange effects. Some report an inexplicable pressure behind their eyes or difficulty focusing. Others describe losing track of time or feeling as though they are being observed, despite being utterly alone. Equipment malfunctions have been common too, drill bits melting, instruments showing negative readings, all unexplained. Could this object be emitting some kind of energy that we don't understand? And if so, what happens to those who stay too long within its vicinity? While official explanations call the anomaly a natural geological formation, rumors persist that the structure is anything but. Satellite imagery of the area is blurry, flight paths are restricted, and any permits to explore the region seem to vanish into a bureaucratic maze. Researchers who attempt to plan expeditions often report permits revoked or delays without reason. Even more mysterious, nearby radar scans during the exact window of its discovery in 1992 revealed similar signals detected by both U.S. and Chinese seismic stations. Communications went dark for hours after. What could cause two superpowers to stay silent at the same time? As the years pass, the mystery of the Black Pyramid remains one of Alaska's most enduring enigmas. Some believe it's a buried relic left by an advanced culture. Others suggest it could be something from outside our world. Until someone manages to reach it and return with proof, we can only wonder what lies beneath the ice and whether we're really meant to find it at all. The drifting boat near Juneau. In August 2006, a strange scene unfolded off the coast of Juneau, Alaska. A commercial fishing boat was spotted drifting aimlessly about 7 miles offshore with its engine still humming and its course steady. The U.S. Coast Guard boarded the vessel expecting to find its crew dealing with a mechanical issue or awaiting rescue. What they found instead was far more troubling, not a soul on board. There were no signs of struggle, no emergency signals sent, and the crew's personal belongings, even their wallets and phones, were still inside the cabin. Nothing appeared to have been taken, but all 3 men who had set out to sea that morning were nowhere to be found. The boat showed no obvious damage, and its radio was still tuned to a common maritime frequency. Even more puzzling were the scrape marks on its hull. Investigators noted these appeared to have been caused by contact with something solid and stationary under the water. However, there were no rocks or shoals charted nearby. Some wondered if a vessel had brushed up against some unknown underwater structure, but local charts and sonar scans revealed nothing unusual beneath the surface. Could there have been something below the waves that went unnoticed, something that had an impact on the crew? Searchers around the area turned up no trace of the missing fishermen. Even their life jackets were accounted for, left neatly inside the boat. Some speculated that they might have fallen overboard or abandoned ship in a panic, but then who shut off all the equipment and left the engine idling? Adding to the mystery was one of the crew's phones. 3 months later, it was discovered powered on inside a pawn shop hundreds of miles inland. Police noted that it contained no new call logs, just a single cryptic draft message that read, "It's not water." Could this have been a last attempt to communicate something they saw? And if so, what did they mean? Those who knew the missing men have never accepted the official conclusions that this was simply a tragic accident at sea. One relative told local reporters that the crew was experienced and careful, unlikely to leave their vessel under any ordinary circumstances. Rumors among fishermen along the Juneau coastline persist to this day. Some talk about an unexplained disturbance that passes through these waters, an event that affects not just the ocean surface, but everything that floats there. Is there an overlooked hazard lurking under the waves? Or did something happen aboard that no one survived to describe? Today, the so-called ghost boat remains tied up at a private dock in Juneau, rarely visited and never put back into service. Locals prefer to leave its story well enough alone. Too many questions remain unanswered, and those who know the sea say that when a vessel returns without its crew, it's better not to ask why. Keep your attention here, because the next one is more chilling than you'd expect. Eldred Rock Lighthouse. Standing alone on a small, rocky island in the Lynn Canal, the Eldred Rock Lighthouse has been an iconic landmark for passing vessels since its completion in 1905. Its sturdy tower and bright light were built to warn ships of jagged rocks hidden beneath the icy waves. Yet, despite its practical purpose, the lighthouse is most often remembered for the strange and unsettling stories told by those who spent the night there. Throughout its decades of operation, numerous keepers requested early transfers, sometimes leaving after only one shift. Many cited similar reasons for their departure, a sense of being watched, odd noises, and a deep unease that only grew after dark. Reports of peculiar disturbances became especially common by the 1970s. Official logs from that period record that personnel experienced vivid hallucinations, hearing unexplained whispers and feeling the air grow tense even when alone. Some who stayed overnight claimed to hear footsteps moving above them in empty rooms or waves crashing inside the walls when the sea was perfectly still outside. Was something trapped there, or had isolation simply begun to play tricks on tired minds? Either way, These incidents kept happening too often to ignore, and they scared even the most experienced lighthouse operators. Despite its long history of service, the U.S. Coast Guard decided to decommission the lighthouse in 1973. The stated reason was automation, a move that affected many lighthouses along Alaska's coast at the time, but some whispered that there was more to the decision. Crews had reported equipment shutting off without explanation, light switches flipping themselves, and a heavy atmosphere that made the building feel alive. Could this lighthouse have been keeping watch for more than just passing boats? Even years after the last keepers left, occasional report from fishermen described seeing its light flicker at night without any power or crew on site. Researchers who visited the tower say they felt an odd pressure upon entering, like the walls themselves were listening. They described vivid, disjointed dreams when they tried to sleep there, sometimes including memories they never had before. Some have wondered if the structure absorbs the emotions and fears of its past inhabitants. Could the lighthouse itself remember everyone who stayed within its walls? Could the isolation and its history leave some sort of echo that continues to stir long after humans have gone? Today, Eldred Rock Lighthouse is rarely visited. Many who pass by don't even know its full history. They simply see an empty tower standing against the currents. But for those who do remember the stories, its flashing light is not a comforting beacon but a lingering mystery. And as long as the light continues to blink on its own, some say it's best to leave that mystery alone. The missing explorers of Lake Iliamna. Lake Iliamna is the largest lake in Alaska and one of its most remote bodies of water. It stretches miles across a glacial landscape, its dark, deep surface often frozen and deceptively still. Beneath that quiet exterior, however, lies a troubling mystery. In 1972, a team of 4 researchers set out to explore the lake's unexplored southern edge. They were experienced professionals, equipped with diving gear and a detailed plan. Yet after they left on a clear morning, they vanished without a trace. What happened to them in those icy depths? The question still haunts those who live nearby. The last communication from the team was a brief radio transmission describing the water as oddly warm, followed by garbled voices and then silence. Search parties combed the region in the days after, eventually finding the team's small boat drifting empty in the center of the lake. Their diving suits were still neatly stowed away, along with all their equipment and personal belongings. Even the food they had packed was untouched. Nothing suggested they had attempted a hasty escape or encountered a storm. Even stranger was a waterproof camera they had left behind. When its memory card was recovered and reviewed, most of the footage was damaged. Only a short, eerie clip survived. That clip showed one diver submerged, his light beam searching the water as bubbles rose past the lens. There was a faint flicker of movement, something dark and massive gliding just beyond his reach. Then the video cut out. Investigators concluded the men must have had an accident, but they never found a single body. Divers sent later to search the same site complained of strange currents and readings that didn't match any known geological formations. Locals whispered that there might be hidden caves beneath the lake, places where light never reaches. Could the researchers have stumbled into one and been trapped forever? No one can say for sure. Over the years, rumors persisted. Fishermen told of eerie shapes seen swimming under the ice, moving too fast and too large to be any fish they'd ever known. Some have claimed to see strange lights beneath the surface at night, like something patrolling the lake floor. Others say the water feels different in certain spots, like an unseen force watching them from below. Could these stories be connected to what happened to the explorers? Or is there something older and deeper that keeps its secrets, especially from those who dare to look too closely? Despite attempts by other scientists to explain the missing men as a tragic diving mishap, the mystery of Lake Iliamna's vanished explorers remains unsettled. The lake is still visited by researchers and adventurers, but few ever dive there anymore. Too many questions remain, and the locals rarely talk about what lies under those dark, icy waves. Whatever happened to that team so long ago, one thing is clear. Some places are better left unexplored. Are you ready? Our top story is so unbelievable, you'll have to see it twice. The Nome Valley Frequency. In the hills and valleys surrounding Nome, Alaska, there's a strange phenomenon that locals speak of only in hushed tones. It's not an animal, a shadow, or even something most people can see. Instead, it's a sound, or maybe something close to one, that appears without warning and never quite leaves. Over the past 50 years, more than 30 people have vanished in and around Nome with no trace and no real answers. Many of those who survived describe hearing a humming, pulsing pressure that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Could this sound be tied to those disappearances? Some believe it's no coincidence. Those who encounter this so-called frequency describe a noise that is impossible to pinpoint. It's often low at first, like a distant rumble, then it grows into an intense vibration that seems to fill their body. Locals say dogs grow agitated and radios fail as if something is interfering with the signal. One longtime resident, who claims to have heard it and survived, compared it to feeling watched even when alone. According to her account, it wasn't loud in the usual sense. It was deeper, almost like the earth itself was humming. Could this explain why some people simply never make it back home? In 2005, the FBI quietly investigated several unexplained disappearances linked to the area. Official reports pointed to harsh weather, alcohol, and accidents on difficult terrain. Yet those who live there feel that doesn't tell the whole story. Some who went missing were experienced hunters and locals who knew the landscape well. One victim's brother told journalists that his sibling was last seen walking calmly toward the hills, without any gear, as if compelled by something they couldn't understand. What drives a seasoned outdoorsman to leave safety behind and walk into the tundra with nothing but his clothes? People who have survived an encounter with the sound report odd after effects too. Nosebleeds, migraines, and memory lapses are common. A few say they felt dizzy and heard a voice, sometimes their own, calling them deeper into the wilderness. Others describe a sensation like an invisible weight pressing against them, urging them onward. Some also recall seeing strange lights flicker across the snow. Are these just symptoms of hypothermia and panic, or is there truly something else stirring beneath the surface of this frozen land? Even skeptics admit that too many strange stories come from too many different people for it to be dismissed easily. The mystery of the Nome Valley frequency continues to grow as more visitors report hearing it, and more locals refuse to go into certain areas. Maps of the region often mark these spots as off-limits or restricted, and long-time residents will simply say it's better to stay away. Whether it's a natural sound, a psychological effect, or something beyond our current understanding, the quiet hills of Nome hide a question that no one's answered yet. What is it that waits in the silence, calling to those who dare to listen? That's it for these 6 chilling mysteries, but there's plenty more to uncover. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, leave a comment sharing which story scared you most, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next one. Stick around and check out the video on screen right now. You won't want to miss what we reveal next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.